Are you tired of feeling like your stomach has its own agenda? Like the bloating, gas, or constant trips to the bathroom are running your life? Welcome to the Beyond Bloated podcast, the podcast where we tackle those frustrating gut issues head on, without strict diets or giving up your favorite foods. I'm Carly, a certified gut health coach who's been there, struggling with bloating that made me look 6 months pregnant, gut pain that kept me from enjoying meals, and fatigue so draining it felt impossible to get through the day. Now, I help women like you find freedom from those symptoms and take back control of their lives. Each week, we'll debunk gut health myths, dive into simple, actionable tips, and hear stories from women who've been exactly where you are. It's time to feel confident, energized, and bloat-free. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Beyond Bloated podcast, or welcome for the very first time. Before we jump in today, I want to ask you a question. What do you want from me? What do you want me to talk about on this podcast? Topic ideas, questions. I was thinking of doing a Q&A roundup episode, but to do that, I need your cues. So you can either email me, carlyclose@beyondbloated.com. It's in the show notes. You can reach out to me on Instagram @beyond.bloated, or you can send me a text. So if you look in the show notes, there is a button that says send me a text. If you click that and you text me, it's anonymous. So if you want to ask an anonymous question, that's your way to do it. I do not know who it is from. If you email me or send me a message on Instagram, I will know that it is you. So up to you how you want to do it. But I would love for you to send me your questions, your topic suggestions, because I do this for you. So I want to make sure that these episodes are relevant and informative for you so that I'm giving you what you need to beat your bloat. An additional ask from me to you, I know I'm greedy today. I would love if you could take 5 minutes to rate this podcast. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you are listening, there is an option to rate the podcast, so you can give it a star rating. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can also write me a lovely message, which I would absolutely love. I was looking through my reviews, and I want to read you one of the 5-star ratings that was left for this podcast. So the title is Professional and Supportive. I had the pleasure of being a guest on the Beyond Bloated podcast with Carly and absolutely loved our conversation. She's so warm, open, and genuinely easy to talk to. As a fellow practitioner, I deeply value her transparency and how she shares her own journey, because when you've personally been through what your clients are struggling with, it makes you a more compassionate, trustworthy, and effective guide. If you're looking for honest, empowering conversations around bloating and hormone balance without restriction, Carly's podcast is a must listen. Thank you so much for writing that review and leaving the 5 stars on Apple Podcast. It truly warms my heart, makes my day, and it also helps my podcast be more visible so that I can help more women struggling with digestive issues like yourself. So if you have found any of my content useful, helpful, even just relatable so you don't feel so alone, please take 2 minutes even. Just give it a star rating if you don't want to write anything. Regardless, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, I'm done asking things of you now, and we are going to jump into the real reason why you are here. Today's episode is one I honestly wish someone had recorded for me back when I was bloated 24/7, trying every protocol under the sun, and still feeling frustrated, uncomfortable, and very confused. I have been on a nearly 7-year-long journey. I actually think it has been 7 years. This September will be 7 years since I officially went gluten and dairy free, but my journey started before then. When I went gluten and dairy free, that was kind of my starting point of trying to feel better. But I was bloated and had so many symptoms that summer before I eliminated those foods from my diet. So we're going to call it 7 years. And I am going to share with you the myths that I believed, the super intense protocols that I tried, what actually ended up making a difference in my 7-year journey, and what I wish every single woman out there struggling with chronic bloating new. So essentially, I'm sharing my 7 years of experience, trial and error, jumping through hoops, doing crazy shit with you today so that you can avoid all of that and actually start doing what matters and what's going to help you. As I'm sure you are well aware, there is so much information on the internet. Whether you are Googling things, you're following influencers on TikTok or Instagram, or whether you have your own experience, you have friends, families who claim doing this diet helped them, so maybe it's going to help you. There's so much information out there that it is almost impossible to know what is true and what is not true, and especially true for you, because we are not all the same. So I'm going to share with you 3 myths that I believed for way too long, that wasted my time, wasted my money, caused me a lot of stress, and didn't help me feel any better in the long term. The first myth I believed, and I believed this for probably 5 years, was that if I could just eliminate the right combination of foods, I will finally feel better. I mentioned eliminating gluten and dairy right out the gate. That was kind of my first step. And honestly, that did help. I had developed food sensitivities to gluten and dairy, and by eliminating those foods, I stopped having chronic stomach pain and explosive diarrhea every single day. So that was a step in the right direction, sure. But since I had that proof that eliminating these foods made me feel better, I was then on the path of, what else do I need to eliminate to get rid of my bloating and my exhaustion and my seasonal allergies and my canker sores and all these other symptoms that I had? So I kept eliminating more and more foods from my diet until I developed a very unhealthy relationship with food. I ended up losing an unhealthy amount of weight, and I didn't resolve any of those symptoms along the way. Now, keep in mind, when I started my gut health journey, I had zero background in holistic health. I didn't know anything about gut health. I was a data analyst. I have a math degree and an education degree. I did not live a healthy lifestyle. So when I was seeing different practitioners, like naturopaths and doctors, even nutritionists, osteopaths, and they had said to me, have you tried the Candida diet? Or have you tried the low FODMAP diet? Have you tried eliminating grains? Have you gone sugar-free? It was also reinforced to me that that's the answer. I just have to keep eliminating foods until I figure out the right combination of foods for me. I tried a lot of restrictive diets along the way. I eliminated eggs from my diet for a very long period of time, and I don't even know why. I'm pretty sure I read some article from the Medical Medium, which if you know who that is, I'm just going to be honest, not a fan. And I had the impression that eggs were bad because he said they were. And I was desperate and I would believe anybody. So I was like, eggs are the reason why I'm still bloated and having digestive issues. No more eggs. So I eliminated eggs from my diet and I didn't notice any improvement. But I just kept them out of my diet for like a year. And now I eat like 3 eggs every single day and I actually feel great. So no, eggs were not causing me to be sick, but I read it somewhere and I believed it. And I did that for a very long time because I was desperate to feel better and I wanted an answer. But continuing to eliminate foods from my diet was not the answer I was looking for. The second myth that I believed for probably 5+ years as well, and also cost me a shit ton of money, was that I needed to take all the right supplements to kill the bad bacteria in my gut. This lasted way too long. And again, I didn't have any information. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just trusting the internet sources that I was reading from and my practitioners. And I was told to take this supplement to kill the overgrowth of bacteria and take these other supplements to kill the overgrowth of yeast and take this to help digest and this to replenish this and so many supplements. I have a supplement graveyard still and I really should just throw it out. But it's like, I spent so much money on these supplements that a part of me is like, you can't throw it out because you spent so much money on them. But I'm never going to use them again. So I really should throw them out, but they're still there. This mentality was detrimental not just to my wallet, but also to my sanity and also to my gut. I just kept rotating through all these different supplements that kill bacteria in your gut. And let me tell you something. If it's killing the bad, it's probably killing the good as well. So I was killing bad and good, which the good keeps the bad in check. So my approach now is to nourish, feed, and replenish the good so that they can just naturally crowd out any overgrowth of bad. You don't need to do some crazy kill protocol. And if you do that, but you don't change anything else about your diet and your lifestyle, that overgrowth is just going to come right back because there's a reason why it happened in the first place. And just killing it and not doing anything else isn't going to solve the problem. I learned this the hard way, promise you that. I tried treating SIBO about 4 times. Those supplements are crazy expensive. I did a candida cleanse 2 or 3 times. Again, very expensive. And then I just took a bunch of different supplements along the way because who knows why. I read it on the internet. My naturopath told me to. I heard someone else talking about it and thought it would help me as well. No supplement, not a single one, was the reason why I eliminated my digestive issues. Supplements can help. And I just did an entire episode on supplements recently, so I'm not going to get into it. But believing that there was a supplement out there or like a combination of supplements along with my combination of strict foods that was going to heal me kept me stuck for way too long, stressed me out. It made me poor. So do not rely on some crazy expensive supplement protocol to cure you. One does not exist. You're wasting your money and your time. The third myth that I believed that caused me a lot of anxiety and stress and honestly probably made me stuck in my symptoms for much longer than I needed to be was that I needed to be 100% strict and perfect with whatever I was doing, or else all of my progress would be ruined. I'll give you an example. When I was doing one of those candida cleanses, if you know what a candida cleanse is, you'll know that it's insanely restrictive. If you don't, basically you have to eat very specific foods. You have to avoid all grains, sugar, other things, including fruit. You also have to take these really expensive supplements. You can't have a single sip of alcohol. It's doable, but it's hard, especially if you are going out and living your life. And I had a wedding coming up, and I was so stressed to go to this wedding and eat the food that was prepared for me and avoid alcohol. And I remember talking to my nutritionist at the time, asking her, like, what will happen if I have a glass of wine? Like, is it going to be game over? Is all of this wasted? Am I going to ruin everything? And she actually told me that it was okay. So kudos to her, because she said, if you go out and you have a glass of wine at this wedding, that's totally fine. Like, you have been so strict with this, it's not going to ruin your progress. And so I did, and it didn't ruin me, but I lived that way for a very long time. I would go to my friend's place for the weekend and bring my own food and snacks and 400 supplements. I would still make sure to take all my supplements at the right time. I'd bring them with me everywhere I go. I'd have alarms set so I knew exactly when to take them because I thought if I missed one, it's not going to work. Same with the diet. I thought if I had one meal off or added in a dessert that wasn't approved, everything would be ruined. And living like this is very stressful, and it's not easy to go out and do things when this is how you are existing. And if you do stray from it, you feel guilty because you're like, what am I putting in all this effort for to change my diet? And why am I spending all this money on these supplements if I'm not going to take them? So then I would just feel bad, and then that would stress me out more. This mindset was definitely more damaging than it was helpful. In my program now, working with clients, I very much so encourage progress over perfection. If you want to go out on the weekend with your girls on a patio and have a single drink, do it. Don't do it every single weekend, but you can treat yourself. If you want to have a dessert that isn't the best option out there, but you truly love it, go for it. Hey everyone, Carly here. If you are tired of feeling bloated and uncomfortable, which I know you are, I have something that can really help. my free ultimate guide to bloat busting. I've been there myself, and I know how frustrating it is to try super restrictive diets and expensive supplements without getting results. If those methods were going to work, they would have worked by now. That's why I created this guide to offer you a different approach. In the Ultimate Guide to Bloat Busting, you'll learn techniques to listen to your body and eat with intention, avoiding overeating and choosing foods that truly benefit you, tips for proper hydration to support digestion and reduce bloating, a guide to delicious foods that promote a healthy gut and how to easily incorporate them into your meals, and effective methods to manage stress, which plays a huge role in gut health. These simple, practical strategies can make a big difference in your daily life, helping you feel lighter, more energized, and comfortable in your own skin. Ready to ditch the bloat without strict diets or costly supplements? Download your free copy today at beyondbloated.com/ultimate-guide and start your journey to a bloat-free life. Now, let's get back to it. We aren't trying to be perfect. We're trying to live life, make better choices, and it works. I am not perfect by any means. I definitely live by the 80-20 rule. I make my meals at home during the week. I eat on a regular schedule. I go to bed and I wake up at the same time, even on weekends for the most part. But I'll also go out for brunch. And last night I was celebrating my sister-in-law's birthday and I had a margarita. And I went to bed a little later than normal. And guess what? I didn't die. I feel fine today because I do treat my body well most of the time. And I honestly feel the best that I have in my whole life now. So do not stress about being perfect. Perfect does not exist. And that mindset is killing you. And it is not going to help you feel any better in the long run. I did already mention some of the protocols that I tried over this 5+ year span. I'll bring them up again. So I did do the SIBO protocol 3 or 4 times. I did test for SIBO many years back, and it was slightly positive for methane-dominant SIBO. And so I did a protocol. I never tested again because the test is like $300 and I'm not going to continue to test. But my symptoms didn't go away, so I just kind of assumed I still had SIBO. And I did the protocol again and again and again. And finally I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to keep doing this. It's not working. So I stopped and I added back all of those foods that I thought were a problem, like cauliflower and bananas, and I was fine. And it's because over that time span, I worked on improving my lifestyle habits and not just buying kill supplements and restricting my diet. Same thing with the Candida diet. I did it, I believe, 2 or 3 times because when I did it the first time, I still had bloating. So I was like, well, I haven't done it long enough, so I have to keep doing it. So I did it again. And I think I did it for a total of like 6 months overall. It's very strict. It's very expensive. It's hard to do when you're traveling, when you're hanging out with friends. Again, I was very strict with it. I was not very lenient. And at the end of the day, both SIBO and Candida occur because of imbalances in your diet and your lifestyle. They don't just show up out of nowhere. So you can't just do these protocols and not address anything else. SIBO especially is very much so related to stress. And I was hella stressed during this time. So if you aren't managing your stress and you're just taking supplements hoping to kill SIBO so then you'll be good, it's not going to work. During my extreme desperation phase, I did a liver cleanse, again, from the medical medium. Honestly, one of the worst things I have ever done in my entire life. I had 3 mental breakdowns. I was crying. I could not do it because you literally just eat fruit and vegetables for like 10 days. It's insane. I was eating like freaking 7 apples a day. It was outrageous. And again, looking back, I'm like, what the hell were you doing? But I know what it's like to feel so desperate for answers. I read this book by medical medium and I wanted to believe it because I wanted answers. This is something that I hadn't tried yet. So I was like, maybe my liver is burdened and I need to cleanse it with freaking 24 apples. That was the worst thing I had ever done. and I did not feel any better. I felt worse, and my bloating didn't go away. Do not do that liver cleanse unless you want to feel miserable for 10 days. Honestly, the worst one by far that I did. I also tried going grain-free because I am gluten sensitive. And so I thought maybe I'm sensitive to all of the grains. And this is a common mentality that people have, that grains and actually carbs in general are bad for us. Not true at all. Love carbs. Encourage everybody to eat them. I tell my clients to actually add more carbs into their diet because most women are not eating enough. Again, I was desperate and I was trying to figure out what was causing the problem. So I eliminated grains. All that really did was make me more constipated. I eat oats for breakfast most mornings. They're full of fiber. They are full of soluble fiber, and they help move stool along. I am someone who struggles with constipation. I'm definitely more on the constipated side of things. And eating oatmeal with my breakfast helps me stay regular. So when I eliminated that from my diet, I think I only did this one for like 2 or so weeks. I just became more constipated. And I was like, well, this is not helping because when you're more constipated, you're more bloated. I eat grains every day. Grain-free was not it for me. I'm not sensitive to grains. And finally, we've got the low FODMAP diet. This should have been my first clue, to be honest with you. I did the low FODMAP diet before I tested for SIBO because I wanted to see if I went low FODMAP for 3 weeks, if my symptoms would go away, because that would indicate to me that the issue is potentially SIBO, an overgrowth of some sort. So I did the low FODMAP diet for 3 weeks. It was miserable. It's one of the strictest diets, protocols out there, in my opinion. Did not love it. And my bloating didn't go away. Yet, for whatever reason, I did the test anyway, because I thought, yeah, I do feel better. I think I feel better. I don't know if I just made that up because I wanted to believe it. It was many years ago now, so it's hard to say. But I did test positive for methane-dominant SIBO, which was why I was constipated. But I actually believe the constipation causes the methane-dominant SIBO. I'll do an episode on SIBO one of these days. But regardless, the low FODMAP diet didn't help me. Yet, I still believed I had SIBO for many, many years because of my symptoms. They do connect, which is why I did the SIBO protocol over and over again. It's hard to explain the thought process and the methods behind it because it was many years ago. I was very desperate. I was sick of feeling this way. I would have convinced myself of anything if I thought it would help. But the low FODMAP diet did not help. And it's impossible to go out and eat on the low FODMAP diet. It sucks. I don't recommend it for anybody. I would say like 99% of people out there are not going to be sensitive to every single high FODMAP food. So it's a little ridiculous to even do it in the first place. There might be a few foods that you react to. Sure, don't eat those. But you don't need to exclude an entire massive category of fruits, vegetables, grains, sugars, and all this other stuff. It's just stressful. And it limits your nutrients on top of that. Before doing all of these protocols, I was actually excited because each one promised relief. I truly believed at that time that if I just do this crazy, insane 10-day liver cleanse, I'll be good. Or if I stop eating grains, everything will be better. It took a massive physical and mental toll on my body. When I did the Candida diet for about 2 months, I lost a significant amount of weight. I didn't have weight to lose, and it took me years to put that weight back on. It wasn't good for me physically, and mentally, it was very stressful, and it was hard for me to eat out and be social. And my best friend told me that her and my other friend were like talking behind my back about how crazy I was being, and not in like a negative, putting me down way. In a concerned friend way. They're like, okay, Carly can't keep doing this. She's fading away to nothing. She's already super thin. She's like eliminating all these foods. What are we supposed to do? In my own personal experience, in working with clients and doing the research, I do not believe any sort of crazy, strict protocol that includes eliminating an entire category of foods and taking really expensive supplements for no reason is beneficial for anybody. I will tell you what actually does make a difference. I like to call this my foundational approach that finally helped things click for me and get me out of this obsessive, super expensive cycle that I was in. Number one, I stopped obsessing over every bite. I had this epiphany moment where I was like, girl, you have been doing this same shit on repeat for 5+ years. You are so restrictive. You cannot just eat what you want at the restaurant. You're ordering what you think you should have. You're packing so much food just to go to your friend's place for a night. Why are you doing this? Like, you aren't even feeling better for it. So I stopped. I started adding back all of the foods, not the ultra-processed gluten and dairy foods, because I did know gluten and dairy didn't make me feel good. And at this point, I'm like 5-6 years in. I don't want the ultra-processed junk. My taste buds have changed. I do like whole foods. I like the healthier versions of desserts, but I still like dessert. So I stopped obsessing and I just added back in all the whole foods. There is not a single whole food out there that I don't eat. I don't include gluten. Gluten in this country is not a whole food, so I eat them all. And I didn't react to any of them. And that was a big eye-opener for me. I was like, holy shit, I've been avoiding all these foods for so many years, and I didn't even need to. I really started to focus more on how I was eating instead of what. Like I mentioned, I was still eating mostly whole foods, but I was also focusing on how I was eating those meals. So I would sit down at the table, no phones, no distractions, do a few deep breaths, really chew my food to applesauce consistency, just sit there, enjoy my meal. I'd make sure I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner relatively the same time every single day, not unnecessarily snacking after dinner. If I go work out and I'm hungry after dinner, then I'm going to have a snack before bed because my body needs that fuel. But I'm not having chips while watching TV at 9 p.m. just because I'm bored. A massive one for me was getting my constipation under control. So making sure that I was going at least once a day and making sure it was solid, easy to pass, not pebbly. That is because if you are constipated, you are bloated. You are going to have toxins recirculating, estrogen recirculating. You're going to have bacterial overgrowth. You need to make sure you are pooping daily to correct anything else that's going on. And I didn't take laxatives and I didn't take all these crazy supplements to help with constipation. I do have an episode on constipation that I can link for you to help you get it under control without relying on laxatives. But that was very, very important for me as someone who is more on the constipated side. That made a massive difference in my health. I made sure that my meals were super balanced. I had at least 20, 30 grams of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'd have some healthy fats and some healthy carbs and fiber. And that was to stop me from snacking all the time. I used to eat a lot of sugar. Breakfast was sugar, lunch, snacks was straight sugar, a lot of carbs. I wasn't prioritizing protein. I was addicted to sugar back in the day. And because of that, I was hungry all the time. So I was just snacking nonstop. That is not great for your gut. Your MMC cannot do its job if you are constantly eating all day long. So making sure I was just eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, nice and balanced with enough protein to keep me full until the next meal. And then I throw an optional snack in there if I felt like I needed it. One of the best things I ever did was start going to bed at the same time every single night. When I worked as a data analyst, I hated my job. And so I would stay up late on the weekends to prolong the weekend as it was hot. And I see a lot of people doing this is, during the week, they'll go to bed at 9 or 10 because they have to get up. And then on the weekends, they're up till 11 or midnight just simply because it's the weekend and you don't have to get up early. But then every Sunday, I could not fall asleep because I was trying to go to bed at my regular bedtime for work. But because I stayed up till midnight the night before and then slept in, I wasn't tired when I needed to go to bed. So then I was exhausted all day Monday. And then that threw everything out of whack and I felt terrible. So I started going to bed at the same time every night of the week. And it made a huge difference in my energy levels and in my digestion. I also started making sure to get daily movement in, even if it's just a midday walk. It is not great for digestion to be sitting at your desk like a lump all day long. So I really prioritize getting in an afternoon walk. If I don't fit it in the afternoon, I'll go in the evening. I'll usually do a spin class once a week. I'll do Pilates once a week. I play softball twice a week in the summer. So I'm doing some sort of physical activity every day. And if I don't have a workout class or something planned, I'll go for a walk. And that really helped with improving my constipation as well. Cutting back on alcohol was massive for me. I used to drink too much in university. Even just outside of university, I was still doing the same thing. And that is so damaging to your gut. It ruins your sleep. I was tired all the time. I was getting infections all the time. And it's because I was drinking too much. It seems like that's what you do when you're young and everybody around you is doing it. And you don't realize the damage that it's doing. These days, I rarely do drink. And like I mentioned, I had that margarita yesterday. It ruined my sleep. I did not have a good sleep. I feel okay because I did sleep. I still went to bed around 11, a little bit later than normal, but it is the weekend, so I slept in a little. I got up at 8 instead of 7:30. I feel okay energy-wise, but I do feel a little tired because I know my sleep last night wasn't the best. That is why I decided to really cut back on drinking. If I decide that's worth it to me that one night and I want to do that, that's up to me. But I sure shit am not doing that on a regular basis anymore. None of these things are flashy or extreme. They didn't cost me thousands of dollars. And that is the point. The real change comes from consistency, nervous system support, and nourishment, not restriction and trying to kill whatever is inside of you. Take it from someone who's tried all of it. Focusing on the foundational things will get you the best results and the longest term results. The kill methods and restrictive diets might temporarily make you feel better, but they are not sustainable. And once you're done that protocol, if you didn't change the rest of your life, that bacteria or that overgrowth or whatever it is you're trying to kill is coming right back. So let me end this on a message to my past self and also to you, maybe where you're at right now. I want you to know you are not broken. You do not need another restrictive, extreme protocol. Your body isn't trying to sabotage you. It doesn't hate you. It is literally screaming at you to help it. And I want you to start with the basics. Give yourself permission to unlearn the all or nothing mindset. You deserve to feel good without being stuck in food fear and overthinking every single meal. Yes, I went to school and got certified as a gut health coach. I have the textbook knowledge and I'm always learning. Every single day I'm learning more. But I also have that real lived experience. I went through this for over 5 years. I tried everything. I am a very type A personality. When I put my mind to something, I'm doing it. And I'm doing it perfectly. And I'm stressed out if it's not perfect. So I was trying extremely hard to correct my gut issues. And it took me so long because I was stuck in the extremes, doing the diets, taking the supplements, and ignoring the basics. So please, if you take anything away from this, you do not need extremes. You just need some help from someone who gets it, who has been where you are, and can truly help you change your habits for the better in a very sustainable and easy to manage way. The link to apply to my one-on-one coaching program is in the show notes. If you want to chat and see if my program is a good fit for you, fill it out. I'll reach out and we will schedule a free 30-minute call just to see if it's a good fit. I would love to help you avoid what I went through. You don't need to do that. And if you have been doing it, you don't need to do it anymore. Let me help you find a better way, a much less stressful way, and one that actually works. If you have any questions or want to learn more about my own journey, I'm an open book. Reach out to me on Instagram at beyond.bloated or send me an email, carlyclose@beyondbloated.com. I'd love to hear from you, hear your questions, or send me questions for my Q&A episode, or send me a topic recommendation, or just say, hey Carly, how's it going? If I don't hear from you, you'll be hearing from me next week. Did you learn something new and useful today? If the answer is a big, resounding hell yeah, do me a favor. Subscribe to this podcast. Even better, toss a rating in there too. It helps more bloated babes discover this show and lets me keep bringing you this free, gut-loving content every single week. And hey, don't be greedy. Share this episode with your bestie who's always unbuttoning her pants after dinner. She will love you even more for it. Thanks for hanging out with me and showing your gut some love. Keep on putting what you learn into practice and you will be bloat-free in no time. Catch you in the next one. Bye.